Yeah, I was a correction officer. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Hey Sarge, my journey as a correction officer. First thing I want to say is Happy New Year. This is our first video of 2021. Let's see what happens. Let's see how we progress and excel. And I just want to say that I hope that you guys had a wonderful holiday season. I hope that Christmas and the New Year was joyous for you and your family. If not, then I hope that, you find the healing that you need. I hope that normalcy provides closure for you guys if you went through something. And always know that, hey, you're in my thoughts and prayers. And I hope that things work out for you. And I hope that you find the healing that you need. So today I want to talk about Tuff Guys. And what inspired this conversation was I was watching a Comedy Central special with Ali Saddiq. And he was talking about this one officer named Mitchell who basically humiliated him, gave him a rough time, and really changed him from a non-violent to a violent person over one incident.
So now I'm about to become uncivilized because it's an officer named Mitchell. It's always somebody, when a bunch of people like you, it's always somebody who doesn't like you and they trying to prove a point. So Mitchell sees me, and so I'm coming through for no random reason. Mitchell pulls me over in this area. It's a high traffic area, the vestibule area. He stops me in the vestibule area and say, "Hey, I think you have some contraband. I'ma shake you down."
And the way he was telling the story, yeah, it was entertaining. It was comedic, but when you really get down to it, if you ever experience this thing happen to somebody, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. You can find this on YouTube. It's called This Is Not Happening. It's a Comedy Central special, and the guy name is Ali Saddiq. And it's pretty interesting, and I just want you guys to go check it out and see what I'm talking about. So out of watching that special, I just thought about a few times I saw similar incidents to what happened to him. Some of it happened when I was new. I didn't know what was what. I didn't know what was taking place. And I'm not gonna lie, some happened when I was a little bit more seasoned. You get what I'm saying? And it's just, I don't think that I have personally ever tried to humiliate no one or come at anyone in any type of way that was less than human, because when I first started working at the prison, the first thing I knew was I have family members here. So I wouldn't want nobody to treat my family members that way. So I'm not going to come in and treat nobody else family members that way. So, and I also knew that being on the streets and being in prison, you got a couple rules that's pretty close and similar to each other. Like, you have to have respect. You have to give respect in order to receive respect. And I'm not saying you have to be scared. I'm not saying that you have to be timid. But I am saying you have to respect the smallest person. Like, respect is due to the most minute person, the person who you think don't deserve respect. Everyone deserves respect. And if you don't carry yourself with respect, and if you don't give out respect, you can believe that respect not going to come back to you. You won't reciprocate it. Now, those are just some of the things that I know as an individual, some things that I know as a person. But there's a lot of people who come into this environment and they have no clue. When I was 18 or 19 years old, I was actually a couple years ahead of my time because of the type of people I hung around. I hung around a lot of older people who had more wisdom and people who taught me different things. So I wasn't always crashing up against the wall, making mistakes on my own. I learned from other people's mistakes. You know what I'm saying? So when people come into the correction setting and they don't have this type of guidance, they're just young-minded, they're young at heart, they're young maturely, you're going to see that. And that could be bad. I believe when I first started in the prison system, you had to be 19. Now I believe that in Florida, the age is 18. And that can, You think about it. What were you doing at 18 years old? You taking an 18-year-old person, putting them in an environment where grown people should be. Like you get what I'm saying? 50 and 60 years old people. And like I say that because once you get in that prison system, you're no longer 18. You become an adult. You become an adult quick, and you have to make adult decisions, especially whatever institution you're working at or the type of institution you're working at. Some are more heightened than others. Some are more dangerous than others. So when you come into that setting, all of that childish stuff have to go out the way, but a lot of times it don't happen, and that's the things I want to address today. So my whole main focus on talking today is basically because of that Ali Saddiq comedy special, and he was talking about how the incident that he faced made him want to kill an officer. He said he plotted for months on how to kill an officer.
So for 8 months, I've been planning on killing Mitchell. Like I done wrote my mama this coded letter letting her know that her son ain't coming home no more.
And he almost had his chance. But I'd rather you go watch the show and see what you take out of it, because I know what I take out of it. And I seen what I take out of it. So I want to take the information that I know and give it to you guys who may be starting a career in corrections or who may already be in corrections a few weeks in and haven't experienced anything yet. But rule number one, man, is respect. It don't matter who the person is. You have to have respect. Say what you say, mean what you mean. Find out what you stand on and move along. You get what I'm saying? If you know that you're going to be this type of officer, be that type of officer. Don't try to be anyone else, because when you try to be someone else, you might get hurt. You get what I'm saying? You might get the person next to you hurt, because a lot of times when stuff happen, it don't happen to the antagonist. It happen to the bystander. So you have to be mindful that your actions can potentially put your coworkers in danger. Another thing I would say is, if you don't do it on the streets, don't do it in the prison system. If you're not a fighter on the streets, don't come into the prison system acting like you're a fighter. If you're not up for confrontation on the streets, don't come in the prison system acting like you're up for confrontation. Be yourself, because certain people are going to try you. They're going to see what type of person you are. And if you act like you're one of those people who you don't care, you whatever, they're going to see what they can bring out of you. So I'm basically saying, don't try to be something that you are not. And I probably said this 100,000 times. And I mean it. Because when I was listening to this Ali Saddiq special, he was talking about how this guy only acted a certain ways because he had power and he had an audience.
This is not gonna be good. Mitchell. I'm trying to explain to Mitchell. So he gets all the rest of these officers around. The captain comes up and says, can't go against my officer. He say, you got contraband. You're gonna have to get naked. I say, Captain, if I get naked in this hallway in front of all these people coming in and out, and I turn right to Mitchell and looked at him in his eyes and say, this ain't gonna be good, Mitchell. Because I don't.
And that can get you in trouble. Just because people are watching you, just because you have a little audience, don't mean that you're invincible. Because it's some people who don't care about your uniform. It's some people who don't care about your badge. It's some people who don't care about pepper spray. They eat it on their sandwiches. They don't care. It don't bother them. So what are you going to do? When the rubber meets the road, are you prepared to act on what you've been doing? Now, I will say this. When I was enforcing the rules, I enforced the rules, but I knew why I was enforcing the rules. And I enforced the rules in the correct manner. I didn't go off grid and just bend the rules to make them work for me. I enforced those rules hard, and I enforced them heavy, and I enforced them constantly. The same rules I picked out, I enforced them, but I knew what I was doing. I wasn't just picking out rules to go over here to try to humiliate a person. And a lot of times, when I could have said something to people, I didn't say it. It was like, if you know a person should have their pants pulled up a certain way, and I'm mainly talking about the guys institution now. You talk to this person every day. Every day. You know, sometimes instead of me yelling, hey, do this, I call them over to me. I have a conversation. Hey man, listen. Didn't I tell you to pull your pants up? Now you want me to lock you up over something stupid just because you walk around with your pants pulled down. Pull your pants up. I met the person where as an individual. You get what I'm saying? I met him as a person. I didn't have to humiliate him when I really could have humiliated them because I talk to them people every day about the same thing. But I'm just saying, maneuver around, figure out how to enforce your rules. I ain't saying you have to do that to everybody. Sometimes you got to be tough. Hey, didn't I tell you to do this? Come here. And then you have to meet the rubber where the road at. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes you just got to go there. But if it don't cause for you to humiliate a person, don't humiliate them. Because you don't know how that person woke up that morning. You don't know what they went through that night. You just don't know. Sometimes you could come in and you be on edge. But you always have to kind of assess your environment. You always have to. You have to watch people. You have to know how people acting. Are they moving funny? But if you're going in there on some tough guy stuff, you just going to come in there and I'm going to just do whatever I want to do, you're going to get hurt. It's simple. I mean, you going to get hurt. Or if you don't get hurt, you're going to get the person that's alongside of you hurt. You get what I'm saying? I remember an incident where I had just became a sergeant and I had 2 officers in the dorm. And one officer was always talking. Always talking. Always talking. Always talking. And what happened, it was time to count, and the officer went on the floor to count, and they had a interaction with the inmate who wasn't mentally stable. Right? So the officer was like, hey, do this and do that. But the inmate did not budge. Inmate did not budge. She went back and started talking. And at that moment, when they started arguing, the officer who was doing all of the talking, her card was pulled. Now, what are you going to do? You see what I'm saying? When they pull your card, what are you going to do? I'm not saying that you have to approach every situation head on. Be smart. Think about it. But if you're going to make an enforcement, you have to be willing to stand up with that enforcement as well. You have to know what your plan is when you're doing something. You have to know what you're saying when you're saying it. Because if you don't, you can find yourself in some trouble. I'm just saying, man, this whole Ali Saddiq, this special, it really opened my eyes to like a lot of people don't even know this type of stuff go on. Like they bothering people and you don't know, you might be planning your death sentence. I'm not saying be afraid. I'm just saying be smart. If you're doing something, know what you're doing. If you're going to enforce something, know how to enforce it. And sometimes it just might not be the time to enforce it. You have to listen to your intuition. You have to listen to your conscience. You have to listen to that because sometimes that can save you. I'm going to give you one more story and then I'm going to let it go and I hope that you watch the special. It was one time that we was out feeding chow and it was an officer and an inmate having an altercation. And me, I was going to go down there and say something. But you know what? I just told you have to listen to your intuition. So I heard that voice say, don't get involved. I said, okay. So I did go to the area, but I stepped back just to be there for precaution. I didn't say a thing. I didn't say a word. And this officer and this inmate just continued to get into it to the point that it escalated. And as it escalated, a captain was involved. Inmate and the captain started going at it. Ultimately, the inmate ended up going to confinement. And I was involved. I had to help escort her or whatever. But when it came down to it, the amount of disrespect that she gave to those 2 officers, I received none of it. And she said, I ain't saying nothing to you because you didn't say nothing to me. I have no problem with you. Sometimes you just got to know when to stay out of stuff. Sometimes you got to know, I'm here, but this is not my fight. I'm here to help, but this is not my fight. I'm not getting involved in something because I may make the situation worse. And if you don't listen, Who knows where you end up? But I hope that I wasn't too much all over the place, but I really want you guys to go back and watch that special and just see the pain in this guy's eyes and see how he was really thinking about executing a heinous act on someone who humiliated him. And I just want you guys to be careful out there behind that fence, either way it go. Drop me some comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Until the next time. Peace.